preserve your memory and favorite days. Come online to the newest craze, the digital scrapbook, the way you want it to look. With digital scrapbook kits, fun and full of wit, you log in today, you won't be able to quit. Come on over and you'll think it's the bomb. Nitwitcollection.com.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our Petals and Parasols release. This is a beautiful kit that you're really going to want to have a closer look at. As you can see from the previews in this, it's pretty jam-packed full. It was hard to display everything because there is so much in here. The vintage, shabby chic type feel to this kit is really gonna, if that is your style, you're really gonna want to have a look at this kit. So in our bundled collection, as always, you save 20% by purchasing the bundled collection versus buying each product individual. So the coordinated collection includes the FQB, our solids paper pack, our 2 paper pack, our alpha, and our little bits additional elements pack. Once again, there's no duplicates in any of these items, so by purchasing the bundle, you're not going to get any duplicates or anything like that, so not to worry about that. So let's have a real closer look here at what actually is in this kit. Like I said, you're going to have a hard time seeing it all, so best way to view it is on this video. Thanks for tuning in. So in our papers, you're going to see these pretty papers. Here's damask in a couple of different colors. Again, we always want to give you the color range because we're not sure what sort of color palette you were looking to work in. We have some simpler patterns as well because obviously you don't want everything to be really plain or really intricate. This is our flowers pattern. This is our medallion pattern in the pink as well, and in the red there you can see the pattern a little more stronger. And again, some really interesting patterns to go with it. It really enhances the feel and goes with the feel of the entire collection. Here's our quilt pattern. I know a lot of you have said how much you enjoyed this particular background paper, as well as our stationery backs. You're going to see those come up shortly as well. And here's the real cream of the crop of the papers. Here's the roses. You can see the intricacy and the detail. Now, obviously, it's smaller on your screen, and you'll see that close up here as we get into the elements, because there are these roses in both clusters as well as individual elements. So you're going to see how detailed these are coming up. Again, we give you a few different colors, and in a toile pattern, another real, so right for the feel of this kit, for that same shabby chic appeal. Here's our stationery backs. These have been really popular for us, and as you probably have seen something similar before, where Mary Fran does all the clustering for you. Just like you can start with this paper. Literally, you could have whether it's a scrapbook layout or a mini album page or even a card front. Like, look at that. It's already done already. To add in a few more small details or a little bit of journaling or whatever, you're good to go right there. And again, color palette wise, we want to give you some options there. Stripes as well are a good one for smaller backing, and same thing with the tickings. Good for smaller backing paper so that you don't have as much pattern in it, so it's not too busy for you. And here's the vine one as well. The vine is so pretty, so soft, nice, small pattern, but it's so, I guess, dainty for lack of a better word. It is really pretty, and you'll see how we use some of that in some of our card making and layout inspirations. So into the elements, you'll see the border. You'll see how I actually flip this element to go vertical rather than horizontal. And so you just simply turn it, and you can use this, and you'll see how I use it in my card making inspiration that you can see when you look at the product description page on our website. You'll see underneath there are images that as soon as you put your mouse over them, they get big. And you'll see the bigger preview of some of the background papers, as well as our card that we've made, as well as our scrapbooking layout that we've made. So it gives you a little bit of inspiration as to how can I use this, or here's a good idea, or things like that. So you'll see how I use this in that. Another border as well. Again, I don't know if it's coming through for you, but nice and lacy down this one side here, and beautiful blended colors in order to give you a nice strong statement there. Bows with some nice, almost kind of a cornet pin for in the centers here. Butterflies are so shabby chic, and look at the papers that Mary Fran's used to cover this. Isn't that beautiful? Look at how the worn vintagey feel of that and everything else. You're really going to like this kit. Same thing with the lacy doily kind of overlay that's on this one here. And there's a simple one in a different pose. Look at how the papers blend so well together in here. Bold, bold butterfly. Some buttons. Now the buttons are so pretty. As you can see, there's a few plainer ones and a few more intricate ones. Again, great elements to use. If you've never used these elements before, just try placing it on your page. Move it around, see where it fits in. They really are useful little things in order to have a little spot that you think, oh, I could use just a little something else. I don't want something that's too busy or too large. The buttons are perfect for that sort of use. These are calling cards. Back in the old days, and I'm assuming, because I wasn't around back in the old days, but old days, Victorian days, I'm assuming that you left a calling card for someone when they weren't home so that they knew you were there, and then that way they'll respond back to you. So this was the genesis of how these came to be. So some with some nice sentiments on them, some that are left plain, so you can put your own sentiment on it. Now you can use it in many different forms as well. You know, obviously you can use this as a journal card. You can use this as a name tag or a date or a title. Maybe it has your sentiment on there about love or friendship or Valentine's. As you can see from this kit, you can use this kit for obviously for Valentine's. You could use it for anniversary. You could use it for a friendship. You could use it for a wedding or an engagement. There are so many uses, or just every day. Here's captivating moments. It's an everyday use. It just has that feel to it. The dress forms, we have a couple of dress forms, and look at how Mary Fran did these up. The rose, the doily, the vintagey feel to it. Like just as a standalone element, absolutely gorgeous. The fans. The way Mary Fran created them, look at how they even have the detail of the ribbing right in them. They are an open fan, beautifully adorned with the bow, really, really pretty. And again, we wanted to give you some options in terms of the colors and patterns that they are made in. This is a floral corner. So for those of you, as you'll see, you saw this probably on our stationery back, something very similar to that. But for those of you that do actually place them in digitally, this actually is a transparent background. There's no white to this or anything like that. If you wanted to do this and you wanted it to be cut out and things like that, this can certainly be placed on the white background, and then you can just fussy cut around it, leaving just a very small white border around it, so it'll still be easy for you and easy to use. Obviously, when you print it out, you can print it out like this, but it could go in any one of the four corners. You can just reorient it if you'd like. Same thing for this one here. You just have to watch out when you're placing them. Obviously, the butterflies are flying in a certain way, so we don't want them upside down. The frames are great because they have that such rich appeal, right? It kind of almost realistic-y looking, right? We've given you them in levels of adornment, I guess would be the way to say it. There's the earlier one that has nothing on it. Great for a photo behind it. Again, this is transparent behind it if you'd like. That's how it comes out digitally, and when you print it, you can certainly cut this out and paste a photo into that if you'd like. This one has a little bit of elements attached to it, and then this one actually has a background paper in it. So because maybe that's what you wanted to do, you didn't want to use it as a photo, you just like it as almost a cameo-like element. So you wanted to use it where it was fully done. So we've given you a few options in here. The journal squares. Both of these journal squares have nice lined areas, beautifully done. The music in behind, obviously it has that feeling of romance and love and that vintage feel again, but lots of room for journaling. These are great. You can use these as card inserts. You can use them on, and you'll see how I used one actually as a backing on the card inspiration for the card that I had made, just to showcase an idea for you. So there's another way you can use it. You can use it to journal on. Great in journal cards, or sorry, mini albums. You could actually print this out because of its size. You could just print it out, and this could be a slide into one of your albums, like into a pocket, where that way you could journal on whatever you want to use. There's so many uses for these. Journal tags, we wanted to give you blank ones. Obviously, everybody has their own take as to what they want to say, so we want to make sure that we give you that option and creative ability. The keys. The keys are another really special item in this kit. We've used them in Mary Fran used it in her layout inspiration. You'll see how she can use it in there. A label. Memories are timeless treasures of the heart. The labels are great things as well. Imagine this being the center of your card Maybe that's your front image because that's what you wanted to say. Using this in a mini album or on a layout, a super nice element in order to just capture that, the essence of what you're trying to convey, and already very, very well done. Our famous paint chip and paper clips. You'll see how I use this as well in my card making inspiration. Sorry, had a little bit of a justle there. The paper clips come in a few different colors again as well. And the parasols. Parasols come as both open format, as you'll see here. So fully open, beautiful. Again, Mary Fran has done this detail so that it looks like it is a 3D puppy image. So how beautiful is that? And also in the closed. You might want to, something that's a little different. You might like the idea, but you didn't want it to be such a large element. Well, this gives it to you in a little bit smaller, narrower element to use. The ribbons. Ribbons are great things to use. You know what? Again, if this is like the buttons and you've never really tried to use the ribbons, you know what? Print one out, use it digitally, put it on your paper, move it around, see what works for you. Joining two papers together, for bands in your mini albums, for bands on your cards. There's so many uses for them. So here is the rose, one of the rose clusters, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Look at the intricacy in each of the flowers. You can see as the petal is bent over, it's lighter there. There's the darker shading down inside. Amazing. I don't even know what else to say. Honestly, I'm glad it's her that's drawing and not me, and I'm sure you're glad it's her too, because it certainly wouldn't turn out like this if it was me. Here's a rose cluster in more of a swag format so that you have something horizontal, give you a little bit more length to it. Here's another rose cluster, but much more adorned. It has the butterfly, the bow, everything is put together for you. Even has the shadowing in there for you. So away you go. You can place that into your creation and away you go. Here are some that are just single elements. Again, you might be looking to do something very simple and very understated, and this is your main image. There it is. You do have that ability and creative ability within this kit. And tags. Again, like I said earlier, these are great decorative items all alone, just standalone decorative items. Place these horizontally like they are, or you can print them or use them digitally and flip them so that they are vertical. They are terrific items, beautifully done, and you can also use them as journaling areas, right? So they do have multiple uses. So that's our FQB. That comprises everything that's in it. Our little bits. So our little bits, the reason for them is we want to give you a lot of pre-made items, as you can see here with these jewelry tags. Beautiful pre-made items and here you are again in a journal card with the bird cage behind. You know, Mary Fran's captured everything and put this kind of scene together, if you will, and already done the shadowing, the everything. We know that sometimes when we're creating, you don't get as much time to create as you'd like. So the little bits, the idea behind it is this is going to give you great results, unbelievable things already put together for you, and you can quickly place that into your mini albums or cards or scrapbook layouts, but you get such great results without having to do all the work. That's kind of the thought behind it. So we give you some with sentiments obviously on them, some without, because again, we don't want to pigeonhole you and say, oh, that's not exactly what I really wanted to say. I wanted to say something more about happy anniversary, or you are my best friend, or whatever it is. We want you to have the ability in order to personalize it for yourself. So as you can see from the clusters and everything else, this is what I'm talking about. Everything's done for you. You just simply place that in. The sentiments, think of the sentiments almost like stamps. This part here to it is all transparent, so there's nothing there. So you can place this, even for those of you that are printing the stuff out, you can place this on a background paper, on a tag, on a whatever, before you print it. Because even using simple programs like Microsoft Word, things like that, it will retain its transparency so it doesn't have the white in there, so you don't end up like with a square or a block or an oval or something like that. You can just place those right on and without obscuring anything else on your creation. So there is our little bit. So our paper packs, our additional paper packs, our additional paper packs, we'll start out with our 2, and you will see similar patterns, obviously the same patterns. Here's the damask again, but they come in different colors. We always want lots of creative options when we're doing things, And you may have, like we saw the polka dots in the FQB, but they weren't in these colors. And you're like, oh man, I wish they made it in this color because this is the color palette that I'm choosing. That's the reason for us giving you these. We know that with our kits, you can certainly do just one card or layout or whatever, but you could do 6, 8, whatever out of these easily out of one kit. Well, in giving you the extra background papers, that's kind of the point behind it, is we want you to be able to use this. If you love this kit, we want you to be able to use it again and again and again without repeating just the same thing. We want you to be able to have options in here that will give you different colors, different feels, everything else. So that's what our 2 is. Our solid paper pack is exactly what it says. It's solid papers that are exactly color matched to this kit. Obviously, we all have a stash of, just cardstocky kind of background papers in our drawers and everything else, or even from other kits if you're doing it digitally. But it doesn't color match 100%. And that's the point, is whenever you do something, you want to do it up right. And this is kind of the point behind the solids, is you want everything to color match just perfectly. Lastly is our alpha. And our alpha is a lowercase alpha that gives you the ability in order to spell out names, dates, titles, words, even maybe a little sentiment. Whether it's a birthday, whether it's an anniversary that you're celebrating, so you have the numbers there in order to fill them in. You have some punctuation in there. There's also a blank title in case you wanted something like you wanted to capitalize something or whatever. You could choose a similar color and similar style font, or maybe you wanted something fancier for your first letter, maybe in a script font or something like that. Well, you have that opportunity in using this alpha. Again, if you've never used an alpha, don't hesitate to try them out. There's always something new to learn, different than if you're cooking or you're sewing or you're planting in your garden. There's always new things to try out. Just give it a go. See how it looks for you. You'll probably be surprised and amazed actually at how well it does. And that is our alpha, and that is the kit. I'm glad that you tuned into this in order to be able to see, because as I mentioned earlier, the displays were really hard to do because they are so jam-packed full, and you saw that when we went through the FQB and the little bits as to how many items are in each of those. But thanks again for joining us. This is our Petals and Parasols collection. Please give us a thumbs up on our YouTube channel to let us know if you liked it. And as well, feel free to leave a comment about anything that you think about this kit. And hopefully you're subscribed to our newsletter so that way you'll also be able to be well known about when we have new products coming out, when we have sales coming up, and all that kind of stuff. Thanks again, and hope you enjoy this kit. Bye-bye.